So good day, everyone. It's my great honor to speak representing Hanyi Fonts from China. And now I'm going to share you with some design case from Hanyi Fonts. これからくだらない面白いデザインケースをお話ししますので、どうかよろしくお願いします。Okay. So my presentation begins with this question: to be or not to be read? As we are talking about font, so I guess the answer is yes, because we are designing a designing tool that we use to communicate. So that's my conclusion, and that's the end of my presentation. Thank you very much. Of course not, because that's most of the time. But if that's the only answer, so where is the fun of the design? So today I'm going to sharing you with design cases that we pretty much didn't do very well in legibility, and in some of them we did it really bad. So before that, for those who don't use the Chinese script, let me just introduce how the legible types looks like to you. This is a He style, which is basically Gothic style in Chinese, and Songti, the serif type in Chinese, and also even with the traditional calligraphic structure, that's Kaishu, the regular script of Chinese type style, but basically the structure is very similar, you see. So to the native eyes, they are all very legible to us. But if we put a little further to semi-cursive style, which is Xinshu, so here you see the strokes are connected together, and some of the components are a little different from all of the three, but somehow to native eyes, they are still very legible. Maybe because even the strokes are touching together, the unique shape give us enough distinguishment of the shape and the component, so we can easily recognize it. So that's real mysterious. We don't know how to maintain the legibility in all the time. So that's why sometimes we choose not to care about it. So here you see the project named, it's Hanyi Dunhuang Xiejin. It's a digital revival project. So in digital revival project, it's all about finding balance. The balance between the traditional flavor and also the adaptation to the modern standard use form and forms. So you see why it's so different from the standard form. Because it's a digital revival, it's obvious that this time we lean to the traditional side. So you see, the finished font looks exactly the same like the older manuscript. And you can also see how different it is from the current standard forms. But in doing a digital revival project, we are not only seeking to retrieve the form, we also want to retrieve the layout pattern of the original manuscript. This is a very old one, and you see this text layout pattern is kind of crowded. Well, vertically, it's mostly proportional. And also, you might know that usually we do Chinese fonts like this. Most of the characters were set in a full width box, M-square box. So it's gonna, both vertically and horizontally aligned. So if we end our project like this, it would be super boring. So by the time we find Kazlagi from Adobe, and I should thank for Adobe for giving us all the inspirations from all the time. We did learn a lot from Adobe's project, from Salzheim project, and from Tenmin Chao, and even the early project like Kozuka. Because Adobe always set good models in CJK design, and we learned from how to think within the standard and how to think between the standard and the most advanced technology and practical use. So thank you, Adobe. And this is, you see, Kazlagi is a kind of font, but the proportional layout is what we want. So as a result, we buy the font, and we try to figure out what they do. So they made a substitution for the whole character set and for the vertical layout. So, but, well, you see now it's a part of, some of them, the vertical alternates from Kazulagi. And, well, it's surprisingly, they did all the vertical kerns for this letters. So, but we don't do that exhausting work so like Leokosan did. So that's what we end up with. This is a satisfying text layout pattern that we'd like to share it with you. That's what we want. But not all the digital revival projects were done by this. Here you see another digital revival project, which is called Jinling Kejin. It's got some inspiration from the wood plate printing. And not bad, right? But if I present it to my teacher and to get some critiques on the project, and he will say, whoa, this project is amazingly normal. Because you see everything in the other digital revival project in Chinese. You find the key elements that you can represent the manuscript flavor, and you find the component, you can use it again, and in the whole project, and the project is done. That's basically the same from all the digital revival project. But somehow, we come up with two versions of output. But why? They look like they are only slightly different. Yeah, you're right. So this project, we collaborated with the Nanjing University of Science and Technology, but also the giant IT company Alibaba was involved. Yeah. We started our partnership with Alibaba in this project. So you see only the blue one, the small amount of Chinese characters was designed with human hands, and all the others was an automatic generated from some mathematical model. But with my understanding of artificial intelligence, in current step, we don't trust them. Yeah, because maybe they know how to win in a Go game, but they don't know how to tell if it's good or bad design. And it's our duty, the human designers, who should take the duty to tell the computers which is a good design. So we need new models for different kind of type project. And so in this case, in a serif type, we need to add a serif model to it, and we want some result of a comparison from human hands and also the automatic generated result. So the first one, the darker one, was the hand-touched version, and the second one was automatically generated. It's just a slightly different, and also you see here some of the components that slightly different with 2 dots and 1 dot, right? Because the first one was well, they tend to keep the old forms, and the new ones, they are generated based on the, let's say, standard form, let's say. So that's why it's different. But the comparison is a very important step to the future projects. So now you see, even in the same categories of designs, we have very different approaches. And in this case, legibility is not something that we care most. And here you see some crazy. It looks like pictograms to you, right? And you're right, they're just a pictogram. This is an oracle bone script, known as the very origin of a Chinese script, carved in the animal bones from thousands of years ago. And this project is also very straightforward. So we just we find the original shape and refine it. Now it's clean and tidy, and also was designed based on a grid system. So it might appear more like a bird to modern eyes, right? So is it legible to the Chinese readers? No. So we need to go back a little bit to the evolution of Chinese writing styles. So you see, The very first one is the 篆书, the seal script, which is the first standard writing style in China. And afterwards, like many of the scripts in the world, we write more smoother, we write faster, so it becomes more and more casual. And something happened between 篆书, 篆书 and 隶书, the clerical script. This is something we call 隶变, the systematic transformation from the seal script style to the clerical style. So after that, the structure of the Chinese character looks more modern and more legible to the modern eyes. And before that, we cannot read it. So where's the oracle bone script? It's at the beginning. It's before all of that, so we cannot read it anymore. So you see the little reference here? Without this, we cannot read our own script. That's what happens. But for a typeface that you cannot read, what can we do with that? Yes, all the plants, all the animals, the dogs, the house, you see, they are actual characters we used to use. And since it cannot be read, we just use it as our ancestors does. We just use a visual form. I don't know what this reminds you, but to me, it's more like, looks like a patapon in PlayStation Portable. It's one of my best memories in playing games. It's rustic. It has the old tribal flavor, but the most important thing is it's very joyful. So we can do something very happy with this. We did a lot of installations and some, let's say, interactive applications in the museum. So by doing this, our children could learn the origin of our script and in a happier way, I think. And this product is very well received in the local market. And we did something more crazy. We did something which is not supposed to read, and this is what you see here. The Hanyi Alzheimer typefaces. Yeah, you hear it right. It's Alzheimer, that's very disease that the main cause of dementia, and usually the patient of this disease will lose their memory through their aging, and my grandmother is one of them, and sometimes she can still recognize me, and sometimes she will mistake me with my sister. Yeah, and so one day then, to me, I don't know whether I should choose to laugh or cry, but one day the product manager came to me and said, let's make a typeface for them, a typeface for Alzheimer, and I said no. So I told her that this is a basic vocabulary for the health person. And when you lose some memory, you just forget about some of the glyphs. It looks like this. So you're telling me you are making a typeface with a lot of missing characters and sell it to the patients? No way. And our product manager told me, no, not like this. It's not for the patient, it's for you, the health people. So it's kind of a mixture of the serif and the sans serif style, and it has some missing strokes. So by doing this, we tell the people visually that how it feels like losing something very important to your memories. And in that case, we can just increase the people's awareness of this community of this disease. This is how this project was carried out.
We took Chinese characters and faded away some of the strokes in each of the characters. Just like how Alzheimer's would take away people's memories piece by piece. A library of over 7,000 Chinese characters was created. A symbol that can be easily customized and shared. As people used the font, not only did it create awareness, but also gave them a sense of what it would feel like to live with this disease. On World Alzheimer's Day, we launched the font across social media, asking people to answer a simple question using the font. Which memory don't you want to lose? The response was unforgettable. People all across China opened up their hearts and used the fading font to tell the world what their most precious and personal memories were. Butter app, one of China's biggest photo apps, even added the font to their app for people to use. Over 100,000 custom memes created and shared. Different brands across China used our font on their own advertising and social posts. Inspired a total of 138 brands to help us spread the message. Even some of China's biggest celebrities used the font to get involved. #1 trending topic for 5 consecutive days on Weibo with over 34 million page views. Fonts downloaded over 130,000 times, reached over 2 billion people. An idea that you'll never forget. The fading font.
Yeah, and in some design, thank you. And in some design applications, we even blurred out some of the strokes, which make this typeface even more harder to read. But so far, this project, we did everything just to make it harder and harder to read, which goes to the very opposite side of type design. But we're still happy about it, and because we are doing it on purpose, and we are very sure it's for the social good. And also, we learned very important things from this project, and without all the retweets, the likes from the social media, we cannot achieve the goal that making people know about the community, know the disease, and care about them. So guide our users to use the font is also part of our job. So by designing this and educate our users how to use it, and hopefully we get feedbacks and make the improvement of the typefaces. This is how we fulfill the life cycle of a typeface. Well, it's not a free font, but after all, it's for charity, so the license fee was donated for the foundation of Alzheimer's disease community. So back to the very questions we are talking about in this presentation. So is a font to be or not to be read? The answer is a yes, and the answer is also a no, at least in China. China is a very big playground for type designers. In here, we face challenges, and we do some experiments, and we're seeking for the new possibilities of the very old job, the type design. And yeah, and after all, we are doing all the crazy things in the honor of design and using our clients' money, so which I like. So if you have the chance, do join us, come to China, and share the fun with us. Thank you.